Hi, Tarot Maniacs. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner and psychic for over 35 years. This is a new series for me. I've been tinkering with it, and we're going to be calling it Tarot Tells the Truth. In this series, we'll be diving into stories that already made up their minds in the media and seeing what the tarot has to say about the truth. So this is kind of like a psychic test, a lie detector test. So our first topic is going to be Kevin Federline's book. It's a story that's reignited public conversations about Britney Spears, her family, and the people who surround her during some of the most turbulent years of her life. I want to make something very clear from the start. This isn't about choosing sides. I'm trying to stay as impartial as possible. My goal is to take a calm, intuitive look into what's being presented, what might be true, what might be exaggerated, and what's being left out entirely. As someone who has followed this story from the very beginning, I have some personal impressions. I have some personal biases. I don't think that Kevin may have always had the purest motivations, and Brittany's been through unimaginable emotional and mental struggles. But this series isn't about judgment. My practice is to always find the yellow brick road. I'll be reading some small excerpts from the book, paraphrasing some key passages, and then we're going to truth check them through the tarot. We're going to ask what's real, what's revision, what's revelation. I've already read the full book, all 25 chapters, and I will be sharing insights as we move through it piece by piece. So we'll look at the relationships, the choices, and the consequences from those choices through both the lens of intuition and the structure of the card. So I want you to settle in. I want you to bring your opinions. I want your opinions on this. Whether you believe the book is honest, opportunistic, or something in between, let's see what the tarot has to say about this. Typically, I will read psychically and intuitively, but I think I'm going to read inductively for this, so you guys can really see what the cards are saying. So I'm excited about this series. I know a lot of you and a lot of people out there are saying, don't buy the book, don't feed into it. I actually got I got an Audible copy from one resource, and then I got an actual copy of the book from another resource. So we'll be talking about all this and breaking it down. So let's get started, kids. So in the introduction, Kevin Federline says that he's gone back and forth on this book for some time about whether to write it, whether not to write it. The timing is super suspicious because both of his kids, the child support just stopped. And we will find out in the book that the child support at one point was $20,000 a month. His spousal support for half the length of the marriage, which was just about a year, wound up being another $20,000 a month. But there are some fluctuations in that. Kevin Federline does claim poverty at one point, and I tend to agree that life in Los Angeles for a celebrity, $40,000 a month is not a lot. That's really pin money, especially if he was trying to keep those boys in the manner in which they were accustomed to, which is a key phrase in splits in California, the lovely state of California. So he also claims that he waited until the kids were older. Now, I do know that they are over the age of consent, the old age of adulthood. But is that age enough? Let's pull up some cards and take a look, kids. And we're going to do this Lenormand style view. I hope this works for all of you. Actually, I think we got a better one. Let's see what this one's like. This one's a little bit better. This one is a little bit better. So I do want to say throughout the book, he does assert that Britney favored Jaden, the younger of the two, rather than Sean Preston, who was the firstborn. So the kids are through therapy. They've gone through therapy, all of that. He asserts that in the book. But is Sean Preston old enough for this book to come out? Lovers in reverse. Three of Swords. That's a good card for this because it's healing. And the King of Wands, Sean Preston, is taking charge of his life. I think he's 20 or 21. So he is taking charge of his life. So looks good there. Looks like he is managing it. It does look like this relationship may be irretrievably broken. It does look like that, meaning the relationship between him and Britney. So what about Jaden? Let's take a look at Jaden. Knight of Wands, the Fool. Now, we did just recently see that Sean Preston had gone over to his mother's home, I believe, and that I think she said it was the first time they had spent time together in a number of years. Sean Preston looks as though some of this has some stopping power for him in his life, that he does not feel that he can proceed. Now, he is an accomplished pianist. You can hear him play on some excerpts. I believe he was with Britney at one point and he was playing piano. I'm not sure which one it is. I apologize. I should have done my research on that and had notes. But it looks like the relationship with Britney is kind of holding him back to a certain extent. But ever the optimist. I do like this optimism, but there's a lot of conflict there. So I would be very, very careful. Jaden is the one that I take issue with because he is wearing a Cookies shirt, which is a branded cannabis brand. And I blamed Britney because the picture was of them at Disney World when the kids were quite young. I don't know how old they were, but they were quite young until I saw Kevin wearing a Cookies branded shirt. And so I have a feeling that there's some permissive actions there. Kevin does purport in the book that he is a not really a drinker, but he is a pothead. And I wonder if that has been somewhat of a permissive environment for those kinds of things. Let's take a look. Has he been permissive with the boys experimenting with cannabis? I'm going there. We're jumping right in, kids. Jumping right into it. Has he been permissive with them smoking cannabis? Yes, because he says it's relieving their anxiety, but this is a bad idea. I don't think that he really should be doing this. The high priestess prevails. So hopefully those kids will realize that it's not the natural, oh, you could just kind of do this and it's no big deal. Hopefully that's going to translate. So Kevin also says in the introduction, and I'll do a few chapters at a time, just so you guys know. He says in the introduction that he wants his kids to know he told his story. So how much of this story is true? If we're going to do, and I'm going to pull out a major arcana deck for this. So 0 being kind of a fairy tale, and actually we'll do it in the reverse. 0 being the truth, the Fool being the truth, and the latter cards being less true. Let's see what we get. How truthful overall is Kevin Federline's book? The Hierophant. I am going to say that this is his truth. I'm going to say this is his experience, his truth. This is the lens with which he has seen the situation. Is he truthful about the evolution of himself as a person, meaning Kevin Federline? No, death in reverse. What is he not truthful about? He is living two lives. He is talking out of both sides of his mouth, as we say here in New Jersey. What about his experience? What about his breakup with Shar Jackson? Is it truthful in the book? A lot of respect for that mother. Does he understand what he did to her? Yes, he does now. How about his relationship, the origin of his relationship with Britney? Is it true? Page of Pentacles. He was looking for money and he was working that narrative. So I wonder, I'm just going to say, I wonder if he was really loving the paparazzi that was following them around, and if he was kind of bringing that into the equation on occasion. What about his relationship with Britney's family? Is he being truthful about that? Yes. But it's a destructive relationship. He knows that they have to pay out to him, or they did at one point. So there we go. So I think the book is moderately truthful. How truthful is he about the help that he offered to Britney? This is going to be problematic for me, guys. You're going to hear a lot about this as we get into the latter chapters. He feels like this is a catalyst for her to respond and get better. I think that's a bad idea. Tough love is not always the right way to go. And he does reference tough love in respect to Jamie, Britney's father. So we are going to see that. We are going to see that. So he does say, does this book tell his kids exactly his story? World in reverse. It's perpetuating more terrible things. And he says in writing the book, he re-examined things. Some of it hurt, some of it heals. That's a quote from the book. Which parts hurt and which parts healed? Which hurt and which healed? So I do think that there is some evolution of Kevin Federline here. Trust me, I don't think he's a great person. I'm going to say that right now. I don't think that he's a great person. I think that he was opportunistic in his relationship with Britney. I think he was absolutely despicable to Shar Jackson. And I do suspect that he had more of a, I don't want to say inappropriate, but stilted relationship with Jamie Lynn, Britney's sister. I think that they kind of egged each other on. They kind of used each other to further vilify her and to commiserate with their experiences that were negative about Britney. I think they did that. I'm not going to say that they were hooking up. I do think that Jamie Lynn coveted everything in her sister's life, every last thing. I think she really did. So I think he is more balanced now, and I think he does understand that there were some things that he did not do. I think this is inaction of not helping Britney when he was in a position to do so. So we'll talk more about that, because I think when she injured her knee, when we get to the chapter where she injures her knee on a video shoot and they convalesce in New York, I have an opinion about that I'm going to pull the cards out. So let's talk about chapter 1. Chapter 1, Kevin really talks about becoming a dancer wasn't something I planned. It's something that found me. He had no formal training, no structured lessons, but he did have a girlfriend when he was 13 who danced at a local studio near his home in Fresno. He'd walk over, he'd go hang out, and then he noticed that there was a group of guys at the dance studio who weren't doing jazz or ballet. They were doing something very different. It was a crew of 6 or 7 guys. And they were a bit older than him, but they were doing what I'm assuming, he doesn't call it hip hop, but hip hop routines. So he started dancing with them, and they started winning competitions in LA. Like he says, every single week weekend they won. But he does talk about how he got sidetracked when he was about 15. When he was 19, he kind of returned to one of the buddies from there. Did he get a sense when he was 13 that he too could be a celebrity? Kevin Federline, celebrity. Oh, ridiculous. Yeah, he thought it was an easy pathway to a life of leisure, luxury, and excess. He thought it was an easy pathway. I don't got to go to school. I don't got to do nothing. I can just hang out and smoke pot and dance on the curbside. Listen, we all thought that when we were skateboarding and surfing and snowboarding and doing all those fun things. Everybody thought they were going to be a rock star back in the day. So he does express that he was not very good at the choreography part, the academic part, where you had to like really learn the steps and do the things. He was more better at freestyle, which tells me that he really thought he was going to be the front man and not ensemble, that one day he was going to be like this front man as a singer. I'm sure the rap career that he tries to ignite later on, we'll talk more about that. Oh, that was like, good Lord. I think the rap career was something that he thought was going to be taking off eventually. So he uses the word dope through the book. It's 2025. 2001 wants their word back. So is he using this word to make himself sound cool now in 2025? I mean, I even think dope goes further back. Is he using it to make himself seem cool? He's trying to affiliate himself with people that would the celebrities that would have used the word dope back in the day. Does he realize that this is aging him horribly? No, he doesn't. He absolutely doesn't. So, oh my goodness. He claims that he studied dance for 2 years. He claims that he studied. Is that an appropriate word? Did he study or was he just goofing off? I don't know if that's necessarily the truth. When we get to his swords, we're getting two different stories here. I think he tinkered around and studied, but I think he was having a good time at the same time. Was an excuse to hang out with ne'er-do-wells. Yes, I did use that. Four of Swords, not necessarily. I do think he was trying desperately to craft a future for himself. So, all right. Did it ever occur to him to really get academic and study the basics first? Did it ever occur to him early on that he needed to study the basics? No, because he thought he was good. The devil in reverse. Why would I hang myself up with that? It's going to cost money. I can just do my own thing. With ballet dancers, this is, there are some people that have the chutzpah to go on point by themselves. And that is something incredibly dangerous. Now, I studied ballet when I was very, very young. I was not very good at it. And the reason I studied was because I wanted to go on point because it looked like so much fun. Like you're just flitting around. You can do some serious damage and establish some really, really terrible habits if you do that without proper training. So this too, I think he just didn't see the point in doing any academic training. So his first professional, he was quickly signed to an agency. He was running around looking at agencies. He was eventually signed by the Block BLOC agency that was headed up by Brendan Phillick. Brendan Phillick was at another agency that had turned him down and then saw him dancing out in a club and said, hey, I want to sign you. Brendan Phillick, did he sign him as a long-term jewel in his client base, or did he think that this was just somebody to pad the agency. So what did Brendan Phillick think? Three of Swords, Queen of Cups. So I do think that he saw Kevin Federline as overlooked talent. He's claimed that he wasn't there the day that he had auditioned at the original agency. But I think he saw something that he could cultivate in him, that this was an individual that he could cultivate and kind of turn around his success. Did he see long-term success for Kevin Federline? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think he saw him as, they call them background actors. I think he saw him more as that. So his first professional dancing gig. So, and Brendan Phillick got him this, his first professional gig. And this is the magic of Los Angeles. The first gig, he was hired as a background dancer for LFO, who was opening up for Britney Spears. Their paths are going to cross. So upon entering the first arena in Pensacola, he said he felt a rush. Was he bit by the celebrity bug right then and there? Was he bit by the celebrity bug? So I think immediately he was bit by the celebrity bug, but also faced with, I'm a background actor. I am a background dancer. I'm basically entourage for the celebrity running the show. So he recognized in that moment his lack of celebrity and decided he was going to grab that brass ring, whether it was available or not. So very, very interesting. In chapter 1, he also does have a run-in with Wade Robson, who we all know, if you're a Britney Spears fan, is the alleged man that she cheated on Justin Timberlake with, and with the reason that Justin Timberlake and Britney broke up. So he said it was the hardest class he had ever taken with Wade Robson. So interesting. On this tour, Britney was 16 and he was 21. He claims they did not connect much on the tour. Fact or fake? Oh, I have a little video left.
Fact or fake?
So, fact, yes, he was disappointed. He wanted to warm his hands a little closer to the fire on that one. He wanted to be top of the heap. So, moving forward. He also claims that he saved almost everything he earned. Between per diem and paychecks, I didn't have to spend a dime on the road, which I know from being on the road, like that's a reality. The guys do really save up a lot of money. Tour people, they wind up going to malls and buying nonsense stuff, but they can save a lot of money. Per diem back then was $350 a week, which covered more than enough. On top of that, we were earning $1,500 to $2,000 a week. By the end of the run, I learned I was making more money than I ever had in Fresno. So he claims that it was more than a job. It was the start of a journey. And claims that, you can really be a great success if you work for it. So was he actually working for it? He was loving the life. But this is interesting, that Page of Wands. It does say, I don't ever want to go back to being a plebeian again. I love this life. Insert corns, got the life. And here, the Page of Wands. Lovers in reverse, a little bit of arrogance there, a little bit of arrogance there. And Four of Wands. I think he's one of those people that sees success and celebrity as easily gotten, because, you know, when people do, when they are successful, sometimes it does look very easy and effortless. And I think he was one of those people that thought is a little bit effortless. There's a lot of schmooze that goes on in LA, guys. So, you know, you have to be kind of careful. So, did he save almost everything that he made on the tour? Did he do that? Nine of Cups. Not true. Not true. Is he setting the pace for I'm a fiscally responsible person? Yeah. Yes, he has a lot of regrets about the way that he has spent money, though, and attributes it, in my opinion, to you know, people are not really understanding what it costs to be K-Fed. I guarantee you, this guy talks about himself in the third person. So we're about 20 minutes in. What we're going to do at this point is I am going to cut this video here, and we will tackle a few more chapters in the next one. So I hope you're enjoying this. If you have questions, ask them here, because I'm going to keep making the videos. I'm going to do as many as I can today. So you see this outfit. But I think I'm going to do the second half of the book tomorrow in a different outfit, different styling. So I hope you're enjoying this. Let me know how you feel about this. I am an avid reader. I don't want to do book reviews, but this one was one that I just couldn't pass up. So hope you're enjoying this. I'll see you soon.